Adsense. And this reduction, or this is known as the normal lapse rate. We also have factors like natural vegetation and soil. You find out that thick or heavily forested areas cut off much of the incoming sunlight energy as a result of the forest. Or as a result of this, the forest temperature becomes cool and lower than areas with open ground or soil. And the last factor here is continentality or distance from the sea. You also find out that the further the inland is from the sea, the less the rainfall in that area. So let us consider here environmental resources. Resources has to do with anything, any material or any substance that's found within the environment that is of benefit to both man, to plants, and animals. There are different types of environmental resources which could be found in different places. We have atmospheric resources, we have water resources, we have vegetation resources, human resources, and mineral resources. So we'll look at them one after the other. First, let us begin with the atmospheric resources. Atmospheric resources are those elements such as wind, water, sunlight, and gases that are found in the atmosphere which are of benefit to man, animals, and plants. And of course, there are various types of atmospheric resources. One, we have the atmospheric gases. Atmospheric gases like the oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, ozone layer, and some inert gases like neon, argon, and helium make up what we call the atmospheric resources. We also have another type of atmospheric resource, which is the wind. Another one is the rain, and we have the solar energy. We'll look at each of these type of atmospheric resources and we'll consider their importance. Now let's look at the importance of atmospheric resources. One is gas. And we have various types of gases, as mentioned earlier. We have oxygen. And what is the use of oxygen, or what is the importance of oxygen? Now, oxygen is used by plants and animals for respiration. Animals breathe in oxygen and they breathe out carbon dioxide. And this process leads to, has a way of cleansing the environment, because the carbon dioxide we give out as a waste product is, on the other hand, taken in by plants for their own respiration. Now, oxygen also supports combustion. One requirement for burning to take place is oxygen. So oxygen supports combustion. Oxygen also supports animal life. In any place where there is limited oxygen, the life of the animals in that place are greatly threatened. So it may get to a point where they cannot withstand the inadequacy of oxygen and they will give up. That means they will die. So oxygen is very essential for life. And oxygen enhances chemical reaction or chemical weathering, and it's also used for many industrial purposes. Number two type of gas we have here is the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide aids photosynthesis in plants. Plants make use of carbon dioxide to manufacture their food in the process we call photosynthesis. and carbon dioxide combines with water to produce chemical weathering. Carbon dioxide also controls atmospheric temperature in the carbon cycle by absorbing heat. The third type of gas we have here is nitrogen. And nitrogen is an essential requirement by plants for the manufacturing of proteins. It also combines with water to provide food for plants' growth. Nitrogen in soil can be converted to nitrate in the soil, which is very necessary for plant growth. Nitrogen gas is used in electrical industries. And finally, the next type of gas we have here is the ozone. This ozone is like a layer which acts as a blanket to the earth. It protects the earth against the burning effect of the ultraviolet rays of the sun. So you can see that without this gas, life may not be easy on earth. We may have been melted before now because of the intensity of the radiation from the sun. So the ozone gas has in a way protected us from that harmful effect of the sun. And we also have water vapor. Water vapor aids in rain formation, and the resultant rain is used by plants and animals for varieties of purposes: drinking, irrigation, for plant growth, and the like. And water vapor moderates the temperature of the atmosphere. Another type of atmospheric resource is the rain. The rain provides water for human consumption. It also provides water for agricultural purposes, and it reduces the temperature of an area. Rain feeds the streams and rivers with water, and it is a source of recharge to underground water. Another atmospheric resource to be looked at is the solar energy. Solar energy has the following importance. It aids the drying of clothes, the drying of agricultural products, and also aids in the generation of electricity. Solar energy, solar panels are very common nowadays, and this is one importance of atmospheric resource or resources. And solar energy is needed by plants for photosynthesis, and it's also served as a source of vitamin D. The early morning sun is very important, and it is a source of vitamin D. And also the solar energy is used for removing salt from sea water. The fourth type of atmospheric resources to be considered here is wind. Wind can be used for windmills for the pumping of water. It aids drying of clothes and crops, and is used for meteorological studies. The wind also aids sailing of ships and aviation, and it aids pollination in agriculture. Because the wind blows, when the wind blows, it has a way of moving seeds from one place to another. It has a way of moving pollen grains from one place to another, thus encouraging or aiding pollination. And it's used also for sporting events or activities like the yachting. And finally, the wind aids dispersal of seeds. Now, another type of resource, environmental resource, is the water resources. Water resources here refers to any useful material inside the water that is beneficial to man, to plants, and also to animals. And sources of water here includes the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, rain, spring reservoir, and wells, etc. And there are so many importance of water resources to man. And one of such importance include the sources of food supply. Now, water resources like we said, has to do with any material inside the water that is beneficial to man. Water resource as a source of food supply here refers to items like fishes, crabs, crayfish in the water, even the periwinkles also in the water, which serve as food for man. It also generates hydroelectric power. Water has the capacity to generate electricity, which lightens a country, an economy. Now, from hydroelectric power, we can generate electricity, which helps, also aids, and which is also very vital for running economic activities in any given country. Now, agricultural purposes. Water resources aid agricultural purposes, like irrigation and watering of agricultural products or produce. Now, water resources also serves as a means of transportation. Means of transportation like ships, boats, and canoes, which are more or less considered as very cheap means of transporting goods and even human beings from one place to another. Domestic use, for cooking, for washing, even for taking of one's bath. Industrial use. So many industries make use of a lot of water for their production activities. Also serves as a provision of employment. So many people like the fishermen and the boat riders and the rest have earned employment as a result of the availability of water resources. Even boat builders, people who build boats, because there will be no need for boats if there are no water resources around.